This is Brent Lee.
I'm a former conspiracist of 15 years, between the years 2003 and 2018.
During those 15 years, he didn't just believe in conspiracy theories, he also played an active role in creating them. In particular, the false idea that the terrorist attacks in London on July the 7th, 2005 had been orchestrated by the British state. I want to speak to Brent because he then managed to do something quite unusual. He escaped from the conspiracy mindset altogether. So how did he do it? What can it tell us about the thinking of people who believe this stuff? And what does he have to say when he speaks to a survivor of 7/7, the sort of person who was once caught up in the conspiracies he spread?
Hello, hi, my name's Paul Mitchell.
All right, I'm Brent.
I'm Mariana Spring, and for Radio 4, this is Disaster Trolls. In September 2001, Brent was in his early 20s and living in Peterborough. When the 9/11 terrorist attacks happened, it sparked an interest in conspiracy theories. As he watched more and more videos, he began to withdraw from his social circle.
I get into a point where I am literally so far down the rabbit hole that I think the entire world is run by a cult. Like all the terrorist attacks and stuff to me became sacrifices to whatever their god was. Like they had to make these sacrifices to birth, I guess, the New World Order.
And just as Brent's beliefs were hardening, a major terrorist attack took place on British soil. The date was the 7th of July, 2005. Brent's fascination with what happened that day would bring him into the life of someone who actually survived the attack.
My name's Paul Mitchell. I'm a teaching assistant and I was involved in the London 7/7 bombings.
What do you remember about that day?
Well, I remember everything. Basically, it's one of those things I think with any major trauma, you remember it like it's yesterday, regardless of how long it's been.
That morning, Paul was going to work. As usual, he changed tube branches at King's Cross onto the Piccadilly line.
I remember being late for work. It was so busy. So I put both my feet on the previous train, tried to get myself in, but the doors were just my head was just sticking out. I couldn't move. So I went, okay, I'll wait for the next train. So then next train came, stepped on, and instead of going to the right, I went to the left and went a little bit further down the carriage. And I think that saved me, because had I been in the spot where I was, it would have been about 2 feet away from the bomber.
At 8:49, as the tube approached Russell Square, a 19-year-old man named Jermaine Lindsay detonated a bomb.
I remember just this massive pop sound and a white light. I remember standing, and I remember being on the floor. I don't remember any kind of point of falling, because it was that sudden and that kind of visceral. It was so packed in to suddenly being able to feel all around me. Nothing. There was just nothing around me. And then sorry for saying this, but I reached down, I reached my leg and my hand went inside my leg. Sorry. And I went, oh, okay, then that's bad. And at that point, it's stupid. At that point, I thought, yeah, I'm going to be late for work.
Paul had been at the epicenter of the most deadly of the 4 attacks that day. Lindsay's bomb killed 26 people. As the attack was unfolding, news spread about what had happened. And all the while, Brent was listening intently.
I was at home. I heard the first instance come through and my mind clicked straight away. Something's going down. Let's get on the forum.
Brent was a member of a conspiracy-filled online chat room.
And basically, I sat there on the computer, BBC News 24 next to me, talking to everyone on the forum, basically waiting for confirmation that this was an attack. We were taking down notes of everything that was coming in, every little report, anything.
Together, they created a conspiracy theory. It falsely accused the British government of carrying out the 7/7 attacks.
Tony Blair gave the orders to MI5 to pull off a false flag terror attack in London so that he could get the British people on side to continue the war in Iraq. And I started putting onto it that, like, these deaths were sacrifices.
Brent expressed these ideas in his music, including through live performances at the locations where the attacks had just happened. And it wasn't just Brent pushing these conspiracies about sinister government plots. Richard D. Hall, for example, also pushed theories that it was the authorities rather than the terrorists who carried out the attacks. He posted 9 videos about the topic. Other accounts started to go further too. It was a hoax. The victims had lied about what had happened. They were acting. After the horror of the attack, this was a further blow for survivors like Paul.
As a group, we were all attacked, which was another attack in itself. I remember feeling very angry. I lay next to people who unfortunately didn't make it out of the carriage, right next to people. So to be told that it was just made up or it was, nobody actually got hurt was just ridiculous and really hurtful.
It would be a while yet before Brent could begin to recognise the pain that his actions caused to survivors. Of all things, it was the false claims by Alex Jones that the Sandy Hook school shootings in 2012 were a hoax that set him on a 6-year journey of getting out of the rabbit hole.
It's just this hoax thing. I was like, this doesn't make sense with my belief. My belief is that these deaths are rituals.
He began to have a different understanding of conspiratorial thinking.
It's just like being indoctrinated into a cult. I truly believe that's what these people have done to us. We are victims, but we can also take responsibility for what we've done while we're in there.
One day in 2018, Brent disappeared from the conspiracy forums. Looking back on it now, he maintains that during those 15 years, he was just trying to help. Brent fears that it was beliefs like his that paved the way for this more sinister genre of conspiracy theory that denies attacks outright. And even those theories Brent pushed have caused harm to survivors of the 7/7 attack. For Paul, the online trolling became a significant source of anger and pain. I spoke to them both about whether they might want to have a chat on Zoom. They both agreed.
Hello, hi.
Hi mate, I'm Brent.
The two of them had never spoken to each other before, but had already encountered each other on Twitter. It was this encounter that I wanted to hear about. They first came across each other this year on the anniversary of the attacks.
Every 7/7, I just post something, remembering the victims of 7/7. And then I saw Brent's post.
I had posted that basically I was sorry for being a person who was there on 7/7 in the forums, helping to create what would eventually become the conspiracy theories.
I just went, well, I can tell that he means what he's saying. So I'll just post a reply just saying, yeah, I forgive you.
When Paul replied, I was very shocked. And I'm afraid to admit it, I ran into the bathroom and I cried. I was so moved, mate. I was so moved. Thank you so much for saying that and for speaking to me today.
Yeah, not at all. I think it's because to see a genuine tweet of contrition, I'm big on contrition. I just thought I can see that you're sorry, so I'll say, yeah, I'll forgive you.